Chelsea and two world-famous strikers at the centre of attention, Danish.
Yeah, so let's start with the Napoli striker, Victor Osimhen. He remains a target for Chelsea in the remaining days of this transfer window. Sky Italy are actually reporting that the Napoli sporting director, Giovanni Manna, is in London, not only discussing a deal for Brighton's Billy Gilmour and Napoli, but also a potential deal that would see Romelu Lukaku go to Napoli and Victor Osimhen potentially go to Chelsea. It's easy to say it. It is a very, very difficult and complex deal to do, simply because of the valuations of the two players and also the wages that the two players are on. Osimhen is on significantly higher wages than Romelu Lukaku. So it's a complex deal to do, but the fact that they are discussing it would indicate that maybe there is a deal to be done here. Chelsea value Lukaku at around £35 million. They don't want to budge on that. Napoli want to start their negotiation at around £27 million. Meanwhile, Napoli, we do know there's a release clause in his contract which is in excess of £100 million. Hence, you can see why there would be potential difficulties in any kind of deal being able to be done. What we do know, though, is that Napoli are desperate to sign Romelu Lukaku. As soon as Antonio Conte came into the club, it was his primary objective. He managed Romelu Lukaku when he was at Inter Milan back in 2021. When they won the Serie A title, he was fantastic for Antonio Conte. Victor Osimhen is not featuring during pre-season as far as Napoli and Antonio Conte are concerned. There is another club who's interested, PSG. They're likely, according to Sky in Italy, to leave it later in the window to maybe see if they can get a better deal. Saudi Arabia as well are interested in Osimhen, but we think Osimhen wants to maintain that challenge of one of European football's top 5 leagues, maybe Champions League football, but of course you wouldn't get that at Chelsea, but still one of the 5 leagues in Europe.
So if Chelsea are focusing on him, does that mean that they've moved on from João Felix, whose future is maybe linked with that of Conor Gallagher as well?
I don't think they've moved on totally yet. Chelsea have been exploring a deal for João Felix. That's because the deal to take Samu Omorodion from Atletico Madrid to Chelsea broke down over personal terms. And as a result, the move that Conor Gallagher was about to do to go from Chelsea to Atletico Madrid, that effectively fell through as well. One thing is clear, Chelsea are desperate to do a deal that would see Gallagher go to Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid are still desperate to see Conor Gallagher come to Madrid. They were really impressed with Conor Gallagher in the few days that he spent doing his medical, finalising his personal terms. So the question is, how can this deal still get done? The one way it can get done is Atletico Madrid need to raise money in order to fund the £36 million that they have agreed with Chelsea for Conor Gallagher. They can do that quite easily if they can do a deal with Chelsea with João Felix, because everyone is then involved and you don't need to rely on any other party in the deal. They're also looking at other options for Omorodion once the deal with Chelsea fell through to try and get that money that would fund the Gallagher deal, or maybe even sell another player to get that money to fund the Gallagher deal. I've been looking at this quite a lot today, and there seems to be a lot of scenarios that Chelsea would be happy with, mildly happy with, and would dread. The best case scenario, I think, probably would be Romelu Lukaku goes to Napoli, Victor Osimhen goes to Chelsea, João Felix goes to Chelsea, Conor Gallagher goes to Atletico Madrid. In a dream scenario, that would be Chelsea's best choice, I think. The worst case scenario would be that man on the end there, Conor Gallagher, not moving to Atletico Madrid in this transfer window, not going to another club in this transfer window, 5 months away from signing a pre-contract agreement with a club outside England, and a further 6 months away from being able to go anywhere that he pleases for no money at all.
And that would inflate the size of Chelsea's squad even further, James. They've brought in Pedro Neto. We've seen him now in Chelsea colours. There's going to be quite a task for Enzo Maresca at the start of his Chelsea career to keep everybody happy.
Yeah, they've got more than 40 first-team players at this moment in time. Some will question, can they fit those within the 25-man Premier League squad, which they need to register with the Premier League at the end of this transfer window? Well, actually, they can register as many under-21 players they like. They've got 14 at this moment in time. So actually, there's only 3 or 4 players that wouldn't be able to fit into that Premier League squad. And We look at Conor Gallagher, we look at Romelu Lukaku, Trevor Chalobah not training the first team squad at the moment, willing to listen to offers for the likes of Armando Broja, David Datro, the foreigner as well. So I think Chelsea are relaxed about the situation of everybody who's in that squad come the end of the transfer window should be available to play for Chelsea. But there is an issue for Enzo Maresca, despite the fact Chelsea can register these players. He's the man got to try and fit them all within a structure in his first season working at Chelsea, a new style of play, and especially in that forward area, especially if it looks like they're going to bring in even more players. It's going to be very difficult for him to get it right, especially the opening game of the season, Sunday, Manchester City, the champions at home.
But he has watched Pep Guardiola at Manchester City in his days as an assistant there, dealing with exactly those problems, having too many good players.